Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy. We're back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're doing a champion guide. Should you build Conqueror, who is the Bannerlord that you can get from the campaign Act 1. Before we do jump into the video though, quick welcome to the latest sub, Mr. Jamble. Anybody who is interested in Raid or mobile gaming in general, do always thumbs up and yeah, subscribe if you want to be featured on the legendary Filthy Casual board. This champion is not someone we have on this account. I have had him on previous accounts because obviously this, as I've said a few times, is about my third or fourth playthrough. My main account is level 95 and I've never built this guy and I don't think his kit justifies it at all. So he is a Bannerlord. We haven't actually got him yet on this account because we've just done so little of farming of Act 1, and it is Conqueror, Spirit Affinity, Rare Attack Champion. Now, the reason that I'm justifying not bothering to get this guy is if we have a little look at the campaign. First off, the Carrick Castle is not great to farm because it's the lowest XP, lowest silver. The two champs you can get are Valerie, who is a decent support. We will do a guide on her at some point, probably built, and Conqueror. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably new to the game, so welcome. I hope you do enjoy it. This guy is not great, but don't beat yourself up if you have built him up to 30 or 40. Any champion up to level 40 can always be used as a 5-star chicken. Even if a champ is 50, you can still use them as a chicken, so don't feel bad. He does have some redeeming features. He's not complete trash. He does, for his level, hit okay, but there are better options, and we're going to go through all that. Now, if we have a little look at his kit, he is attack based, so all of his damage comes off attack. So if you are building him out, the higher his attack figure, the more damage he will do. As he is a damage dealer, you will want to prioritize getting your crit rate quite high and also crit damage. Now, his A1 does nothing but hit twice, so the only real advantage to this is Fire Knight's Castle, because he can hit, A1, 2 hits, that's 2 procs of the shield down, so that is at least something. But normally speaking in this game, an A1 is considered good if there is something else here with it. And his main competition for his slot, the main thing that he does, the person we're going to compare him to has got a better A1. His second one is attacks one enemy, removes 2 random buffs from the target. So this is a buff strip, a single target buff strip. You can book it down to 2-turn cooldown. This would be good for the magic keep, because that is where the boss has got this huge shield, and at some point you stop being able to hit through it, so you have to remove it or steal it. The reason he's crap for that is because he's the wrong affinity. So he's got a 30% chance of weak hitting. If he weak hits, he's not going to remove the buff, he's not going to remove the shield, not going to do his job. So really for that reason, there are other options. Anybody with a red affinity, a force affinity, magic or void that does buff strip, buff removal or buff steal, even on single target, will be better for that role. So again, not reason enough to build him out. And then his final one, this I guess is the showstopper. You can book this down to a 3-turn cooldown. 1 hit on an enemy, but if he does kill them, then they cannot be revived. So it's a block revive skill. Can be handy again for Ice Golem, because the minions, you want to try and block the revives if you can. On auto, obviously, it's totally lucky dip as to whether he gets the killing blow with this. But if he does kill one of them, they can't be resurrected, and that means you're less likely to be one-shot in the Ice Golem dungeon. His aura is an increased attack in all battles by 18%. This would be decent for early arena if you're not going for a speed lead or maybe for a tagged arena team. Obviously he's going to pump up the 18% attack. This works off the base stat on the champion, so it doesn't work off anything from gear. So it is only their base attack that gets boosted, but still 18% is a decent amount. Most damage dealing champions that are attack based are going to have over 1,000 attack, maybe up to 1,500, so that is quite a nice bonus. His attack is actually quite high at 1400. He's very difficult to keep alive because his HP is 12,000, which is not the absolute lowest, but it's pretty low. And his defense is fairly miserable at under 800. Decent speed, 99. That's about where you want speed to be. Resist 30, crit rate 15, crit damage 57. Now, if, let's say, the other champion I was going to show you wasn't in the game, then block revive and buff strip would be okay. But there is a champion in the game from the Sacred Order who is free, who is even easier to book out than this guy, and that is, of course, our good friend Armiger. They share the same affinity. Okay, on the A1, this guy will decrease turn meter by 30% if he crits. So the downside is you're going to build him with a very high crit rate, generally 100%, because you want to get the A1 critting and the 30% turn meter reduction. You obviously need accuracy for this to land. You have to pass your accuracy check. But on his A2, he also has block revive. This is on a 2-turn cooldown, so it is a shorter cooldown. He's defense based, so he's easier to keep alive, and it also works off enemy max HP. So this hits fairly hard. His HP is better at 15,000 as opposed to 13,000 for Conqueror. His defense is obviously higher because he's a defense-based champion at just under 1,000. His speed is slower at 92, but on the other side of things, he's uncommon. Very easy to book him out because you can buy copies of him from the market. You can get him from mystery shards. Conqueror, again, he is pretty easy to book because you just run through the campaign repeatedly, and you collect a copy of him every other time on average that you get a rare champion. But he still, he requires more copies because he's got the 3 skills to book out, whereas Armiger doesn't. And yeah, it's going to take you a lot longer to get it done. Now, obviously, his base attack is much higher than the base defense of Armiger, but I think the extra survivability of Armiger, the bigger utility on the A1, means that he is somebody that you should be building. So to get your Armiger copies, you just look out in the market. If you see him, grab him. And I will show you to prove just how valuable I think he is. I've got one here at 40. I will take him to 50 at some point very soon. I've got a second one in Relentless gear. Again, once he gets up to 40, he will be in the build list to go up to 50 because he's just an all-round great champion. Block revive for Ice Golem is useful. I like, this one I've got he's fully booked on his A1. He's got 3 more copies to go into his A2, and the other one is fully booked as well, because it is quite easy to do to get those copies. So Conqueror, who is from the campaign, sadly, not very good. If you have built him to 40, by all means, you can always use champions on the way. Bannerlords as a faction early on, not terribly easy to get champions, so you could build them for faction wars just to clear a stage or 2, but there are a couple of okay-ish uncommons for the Bannerlords, so it's not exactly like you're completely stuck. There are better rare options that you can get. There are some decent void ones actually. 3 of the 4 voids are really good for rare options for faction wars. Valerie is quite a good option for faction wars. This dude here has actually got quite a good kit, defense based, with provoke, ally protect, continuous heal, decreased attack on an AoE, defense aura in dungeons, which obviously wouldn't apply to faction crypts, but he's decent. There are enough options, I think, to not have to build this guy, and really you are talking about going out of your way, I think, to build him, because he's not going to get in a faction wars team unless you've got nobody else. Now, don't get me wrong, early on in the game you won't have a faction wars team, but you only really need 1 champ from each faction, and realistically it's every other faction is what you want to prioritize, because normally speaking 2 of the crypts are open at the same time. Today we've only got the Shadowkin open, but you can clear 3 stages with 1 or 2 champs. Even if I just had 1 champion, we'd still be able to clear the first couple of stages. A 30 with gear ascended should be able to do it, and you can always chuck in a second uncommon. So even for something as simple as factionals, I probably wouldn't build him. That is the guide. I hope you found it useful. I hope you haven't collected too many copies of Conqueror and booked him out. Even then, I'd still food him. You know, I just don't think he's worth it. That is the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. Yeah, thumbs up appreciated. Do subscribe if you are interested in this game. I'm going to try and do an absolute shit ton of these guides on some of the less popular champions, because I think a lot of people new coming to the game, you know, I've got questions like, is this champ any good? Should I build out this champ? Which ones that I get for free essentially are the best. But yeah, Conqueror, absolutely not. Do not build him. I've been the Filthy Casual. Take it easy. Peace.